What's going on, family?
Welcome
to the second episode of the Lead Your Lineage podcast.
You already know.
With your favorite people in the world. My name is Sean.
My name is Taron, you know what I mean? Hey, and Ron too, I didn't even know that, cuz. Sean and Taron, Lead Your Lineage podcast. It's easy, just look it up, type it up on YouTube. Simple.
Absolutely.
Yes. What's this episode gonna be about, big cuz?
Today, man, let's touch on knowledge of self.
Yeah, we got to. We stand in line with what we said about, you know, how we gonna keep it with like nature, how we gonna have our podcast go with nature. And, you know, it's the winter time, so we self-reflecting, man. You know, self-awareness, self-360, all around the board, every way you can think about it, cuz, man.
Yeah, let's dig deep today.
I'm down, man. But before that, you already know what we like to do. You know, go ahead and crack it open, cuz. Go ahead and do your
thing. Gotta get that information.
Got to, man. That's very important. That's very important.
I'm gonna find a few that touch on the content that we have today. See here what we got. This one stuck out to me. Right here. My magic manifests melanin magnificence. My magic manifests melanin magnificence. Yeah, one of my favorite quote of all time is "Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can," by Arthur Ashe.
Yeah.
And the result of that is the manifestation of melanin magnificence. So that's doing everything in excellence, from stretching in excellence to chewing your food in excellence to giving hugs to your family members or loved ones in excellence. That's walking one foot forward, one after another in excellence, just doing everything in excellence. Our melanin magnificence can do that.
Okay. I dig that.
Another one, absolutely. Another one, I'm just gonna do one from each page here. I love myself.
Ooh.
I love myself.
Very strong.
First and foremost, if you don't love yourself internally, once you find somebody to be a partner with in life, if you don't love yourself internally, that's going to exude and or project on them. And you may or may not know where they are in terms of how they love themselves as well, but that could hinder or harm them and hurt them. Like, so it's really one of those things where we have to know what that looks like for ourselves and what we need as individuals for love to be able to figure out, okay, this is what I need. Let me seek this for myself and within myself, and then we can go out into the world to be able to find that reflection in another individual.
Lovely.
And then those two 360 individuals become 720.
Yeah.
And that's a different conversation though. We'll go there another day.
Definitely.
And then
I like that one though.
Yeah, my from this one, the last one I'll drive one of my affirmations is I am happy. I am happy. The I am happy when one of my brothers, shout out to brother Yadin Cole. We gotta get him on the podcast too.
Okay.
Yep, we gotta get him on the podcast. I call him Dr. Yadin.
Okay.
Dr. Yadin. He's a yogi. Does a lot of creative stuff as well. He always says that everybody deserves to be happy and healthy, and I completely agree with that 1,000,000%.
too.
And that happiness, finding what that is without the material things, because where everybody's programmed to find out what makes them happy based off of, does this car make you happy? Does you having this doctorate degree make you happy? Do you having this mansion make you happy? Do you having a family make you happy? Like, what makes you happy? Family isn't material per se. But just things that are like outside of self to make you happy. You need to find that happiness within self. Like really tapping into literally yourself, your Akashic records. And Akash means sky. So as we learned growing up in church, heaven is in the sky. Akash means sky. So it's just the same thing, a different terminology. You know what I'm saying? So being able to tap in who you are, because you're from the heavens, being able to tap into that and figure out who you are within self, and then you be able to transmute that into happiness, transmute that into love, which is the highest frequency. Now you got a recipe. Now you got a solid foundation and a recipe for success in all 360 degrees of life. You know what I'm saying? So,
and let me elaborate on that, because how you were saying a car, a car can make you happy, a home, a family, all these material things. And a lot of times, if you really look back on it, who told you that these things was gonna make you happy? Somebody else. A television show, maybe a commercial. You saw Zell's commercial said, and the woman was on there, she was smiling, the man was on there smiling, they had the little kid with the nice thick chain smiling. All of this is, believe it or not, this is hitting your subconscious.
Right.
So you gotta really dig into self. Like that's what this episode about, is self. And you gotta dig into yourself and ask yourself what makes you happy. Not what your mama told you, not what you've been raised up on, not what television told you, what makes you happy. And a lot of times that, believe it or not, even if you are with somebody, a lot of time that takes you spending time by yourself. Even I'm a stay-at-home dad. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm with my kids every day, all the time. So, and I still find that time, even if it's only 10 minutes, when I'm in the shower, talk to yourself, reflect to yourself, bring back who you are. Because you only, like, remember, we had this discussion, cuz, as fathers, as man, period, not just as fathers, as man's period, as man, period. No, cuz, hey,
hold on, you got something on?
Nah, man. Hey, I wouldn't know if you don't know. You know what I mean? Hey, don't ask me. But yeah,
my bad, go ahead.
Nah, cuz, but we was talking in that car one day on our way to Walmart when I was talking about how I realized, man, a lot of men out here, we don't do a lot of self-awareness on our health, on our emotions, on ourself. We were always worried about, hey, I put my wife first, I put my kids first, make sure they eat, make sure they straight, make sure they healthy, make sure they feeling good emotionally, make sure they all right physically. But the crazy part about it, this is not even selfish. If you really understand what I'm saying, you understand. In order to get all of that correct, you have to get yourself in order.
Absolutely.
How you gonna take care of somebody physically if you're not doing well physically? How you gonna help somebody? How you gonna help your child grow emotionally if you're not right emotionally? How you gonna teach your kid, hey, this is how you eat so we can be more healthier. This is how you work out so we can be more healthier, and you're not up to par with your health. That all matters. So we gotta start paying attention to ourselves as man. We always worried about the outside of us or everybody else. Even our buddies sometimes. We be worried about our guys a lot sometimes. We gotta worry about ourselves in order to care about everybody else, cuz.
Most definitely. And like, just to add something to that, that's one of the things that my father didn't do.
Yeah.
Like he prioritized his wife, which is my mother. He prioritized me, which is his only child, his son. And there's nothing wrong with that. But he never prioritized himself in that process. And he let his health slip away. So he had all these different situations going on, all these health complications, and he never corrected them. And if I knew what I knew now, I could have helped out if he was willing. But it's neither here nor there. But it's just like you said, we don't focus on that self piece first. If we get ourselves together, everything else flows.
Everything else flows.
Like Lauren Hill said, how you gonna win if you ain't right within?
Everything flows, cuz. Like from everything I'm doing today, it all was after I became self-aware of who I am. Not who somebody tells me, not what a book tells me, not what nobody tells me. I had a self journey, and with the knowledge I figured out and the knowledge that I stumbled upon, I realized a lot of things that I was taught wasn't right. I realized a lot of things it was a lot of things. I ran into this professor. She said, Ronnie, you're very intelligent. She said, you have very intelligent. She said, you're a very intelligent being. She said, you can understand, you can adapt. However, by your behavior, and this is when I still was out there, because, you know, I was out there. She was like, by your behavior tells me you still have things that you need to unlearn. And I was confused. I never understood, like, what you mean I gotta unlearn something? Shouldn't everything you learn you should keep? I didn't understand that sometimes to learn and move on to the next level of knowledge, of wisdom, you had to drop the stupidity or the ignorance, let's say the ignorance of things that you were taught that you didn't know was ignorant. So, you know, for example, I don't care, man, I keep it 100. You know, I was taught if I didn't have it, go get it. If I didn't have it, go take it from somebody who do got it. I had to teach myself that I was capable of getting something just as much as the next man was. So why do I need to take from the next man? I need to build up my own self and get to that category or whatever I need to get to. So it's a lot. I had to unlearn how to, when I'm down, don't go take it from the next man who won. And that's the mentality of most black men. To be honest, let's be honest. That's why you see a lot of us always tearing each other down. Maybe we both got a clothing line, and I done bumped into this. You know, and you want to look at me as competition. It's not one competition I look at here. No clothing line is my competition in my opinion. Especially if you melanated. Especially if you melanated. How is that competition? It's competition is you going against this person. You reflecting yourself against this person. You gotta, in order to compete, you gotta compare yourself to the next person. I never compare myself to the next man.
So this is something I literally just found out about myself. All of my affection I received growing up was tied to an accolade or an accomplishment.
Explain that, cuz.
So like, growing up I had perfect attendance, good grades, honor roll, played sports, all that stuff, right? Every time I did those things, it was like, oh, great job, great job, great job. You did a great job. You're amazing, you're great, you were an IPS athlete character, you were X, Y, and Z, right? It was all ties to the accolades. It wasn't anything that, if I wasn't accomplishing anything, there was little to no affection being shown to me.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, like, okay. So then I get into a space like, okay, then, like when I first got into this journey of like really figuring out who I was, my first love language that was my priority was words of affirmation. So I had to affirm myself like, hey, I'm really like this person that's dope. But how I learned how dope I was by me only achieving things.
Okay.
So now I'm like, okay, now I need to really go back and deal with that. To be like, okay, I need to, because I recognize that now. First I didn't recognize that. Now I recognize that I need to deal with that now. To be able to receive that affirmation, that affection, without having any type of accomplishment or achievement. So I'm doing that for myself.
So let me ask you this, cuz.
What's up?
How about self-accomplishments? For instance, shout out to Anthony T. Browder. You know, most people didn't know who he was. You know, a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. So when he liked my clothing line, you know, I told my mom, like, hey, mama, Anthony T. Browder, he liked my clothing line. He gave me a like on Instagram. She's like, oh, well, okay. I'm like, who is he? And I was like, oh, okay. So that also helped me learn that you got to give yourself a applaud. You know, a lot of people don't know what you're going through. A lot of people don't know what you know. You know, a lot of people are not you. A lot of people, because in somebody's eyes, they're like, oh, you only got to like it, something I like. But you know, in my eyes, it's like, shoot, that's like somebody saying that Beyonce, you know, that's like saying you got a clothing line, Beyonce rocking your clothes. You know, that's how I look at it, you know. So it's all about self-achievements. It's just so much that ties into that. Being self-aware, having the self-knowledge, the self-preparation, man. Let me get into that. Self-motivation. That's one of the biggest things of having to do when you're an entrepreneur. Self-motivation, because
absolutely,
man.
Absolutely.
When I tell you, it's gonna be times you hit the road and you seem like you can't go any farther, and if you quit, it's nothing more. Self-motivation, it helps. Why I say it builds winners, because it helps you understand who's there and who's not. It helps you understand the hard times, when the hard times come to you again. So now, when hard times come, you've been in the boat. Think about it. It's like the immune system. Once it had a virus before, once that virus come in again, it identifies that virus, right?
Absolutely.
So that's how hard times are. You go through a hard time, and if you self-motivate yourself and get through that hard time, when the next one comes through, you're gonna be like, I remember how it self-motivate me. And why I say that's the most important is because sometimes your spouse not gonna motivate you, your brother, your cousin, and sometimes they can motivate you, but their motivation ain't enough. They can be telling you, oh man, your clothing line dope, your clothing line dope. You can be hearing that all day long. 1,000,001 people can tell you. But if you don't feel like that yourself about whatever you pushing, whatever you selling, you're not gonna go that far with it. You can have the most dopest idea in the world, the most dope, but you can make billions of dollars. But people will not buy it if they don't see you having self-confidence in yourself. And that's another one, cuz.
Absolutely. And
self-confidence.
I believe that self-confidence comes with confidence of self. So like with me, I'm going, and I've gone deep into really understanding and understanding who I am. On all levels, like metaphysical, physical, financial, like emotional, like I'm really diving into this socially, all of that, right? And like, when you look at our biological makeup, the melanin in our skin, you got 6 protons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons, right?
666, and they tell you that's evil.
And that's the mark of the beast, right? Supposedly.
I'm a god.
We are gods, right? So when you have that positive perception of self, say, okay, I'm a child of God. I may not be the big G-O-D, but I'm little G-O-D, right? And a lot of people can't even grasp that concept with a religious text that tells them that. Verbatim. And some people take things that resonate with them and other people and leave things that doesn't, which I completely understand that. But it literally says that, and this is like where a lot of our people, all our melanated people are coming from that framework, they have that mental framework. So it literally says that, so why not live like that? And like with me, I took it a step further. It's like, okay, these are some particles of some sort. So I'm like, okay, where were the planets when I was born? Like, where are my great grandparents on both sides of my family? Where are they from? Were they really slaves? Like, did they really come over here on slave ships, or were they already here? Like, when you look at it logically, both of my parents, I have half of my parents' cells, have a fourth of my grandparents' cells, 1/8, 1/16, and it goes on and on and on and on to infinity and beyond, right? Like Buzz Lightyear said in Toy Story, right? To infinity and beyond. So really, I'm getting into like the depths of that, not just like, oh yeah, I'm a entrepreneur that likes to do X, Y, and Z, and likes real estate, likes thinking, likes talking to people, likes cryptocurrency, whatever.
Yeah, your heritage, 360.
I'm getting into it on all aspects of it.
And that's what's missing a lot in our culture.
Facts.
Is heritage and culture. If you look at the Chinese, I know I talk to you about this a lot. About 70-some years ago, they kicked out the Europeans. I'm gonna be straight blessed about it. They kicked out the Europeans, and they they start going back to their heritage ways, back to their cultural ways that their ancestors practiced. And now look at them. I mean, every time you look at something made in China, made in this, made there, made in China somewhere. So why is this important? Because like you said, it's in our DNA.
Right.
It's what we practice. If y'all,
it's in ourselves.
Yeah, it's in ourselves. Now, y'all, please tell me, some of y'all fans, you know, some of our subscribers, please tell me y'all seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. Because if you saw that and you understand the concept, if you look at it, the Avatar, if you look at it as one person, the Avatar was literally one person. Everybody else was just metaphors. So if you look at what he was doing, we always talk about 360, right? So he was 360. He could bend fire, bend air, bend the earth, and and water, right? And each tribe, each 4 of the tribes were different tribes, were meaning like each move they had to move. In order to bend water, you had to make a certain move. In order to bend fire, you had to make a different certain move. In order to breathe, you know, air, bend air, you had to make another certain move, and so on and so on. And each of these cultures, they both ate and did something different. And when the Fire Nation took over, the Fire Nation started making people dress like them, start making people talk like them, start making people move like them. You can't bend no earth. You an earthbender. You gotta move like a fire. You can't bend earth, and you not fire, so you're not bending fire, so now you powerless. So what the Avatar did was he started taking everybody back to their villages, making them practice their heritage, start making them practice who they was, and it all helped out. And everybody became back who they were, because that's who you are. That's who you are. Your DNA, your heritage is who you are. And as melanated people, our heritage was stripped away from us. So what we got to do, we got to self-educate.
Absolutely.
Self-educate ourselves about who we are. Like you said, because I don't know if you said it in this video, but Cuz went to Fort Wayne to dig up more of our ancestors so we can know who we are.
Oh, yeah, let me touch on that.
Yeah.
So, I'm here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We have we're in Indianapolis, but in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is only a couple hours north of us, it's either the second largest or the largest genealogy library in the country. So, if you wanted to literally go research your earthly family records, I'm saying it like that. The family you have on Earth, you want to go research them and who they were, they have the archives for you. I know, like later on this year, I'm going to like spend like a week up there because it's so much information to be able to connect the dots. Like, okay, you just need and they give you like a guide to just like start, right? But also too, on the other side of that, it's like, okay, they have the information of who we are, and we do too. Yeah. It's inside of us already.
Already, you can tap into it.
But
yourself.
we don't look at it like that. We look at it like it's a taboo, essentially. But we're not stripped up because it's in us. We got to remember it.
Yeah,
we got to put it back together. We got to reattach it.
They didn't strip it out of our DNA, but they stripped it out of our mindset. They gave us a whole nother mindset. Every time you mention something of our heritage, of our culture, it's been frowned upon. Like number 13, that's even significant. A full moon, all of these things, a black cat, all of these things is what, if you look back into true history, this is what our people practiced. A black cat was lucky. The number 13 was lucky. A full moon was lucky. Now they tell you that all of this is negative. That's why you have to do self-education. You have to do your heritage. Your heritage is self. Heritage equals self, because that's who you are. That's who you made of. You made out of these people DNAs, out of these atoms. You got the 1/10, the 1/16 of your great-great-great-great-grandfather. So you are your heritage, because.
Absolutely. Like also too with that, to add on to that, like the sun, right?
Yeah.
Like the sun. So we have DNA of our ancestors. Our DNA is held in cells. That DNA has its own situation, mitochondria, gene, all this stuff, right? Then you just look at it, just take a step back and just look at it, right? the sun itself is energy.
Yeah.
We're energy.
Yeah.
The source that provides us with what we need is the sun, and we come from the sun because we're a part of the sun.
Yeah. Wow.
And the sun is a part of us.
Yeah.
So like all of like just knowing like everything is connected, whether it's this or that, it's us. It's literally us.
Yeah.
It's literally us. And we don't see that as what it is. We just use our imagination and forget about it after that. But like once we realize that the sun is me, this dirt is me, this water is me,
Yeah.
this tree over there is me, like all of that, everything that's in that is in me. I need the tree to breathe.
Good.
Like I need water to drink. You know what I'm saying? Like I need these plants to eat. Like it's all, everything is reciprocal. Everything is 360, but we've ignored it. We've ignored it.
And going back, cause you know, this goes to self too. You know, I love talking about this, man, because you're talking about what we need and what we need. That's why we also got to be self-aware of our souls, of our spirits, because our spirits don't need any of those things you named. Our spirit doesn't need water to drink. It doesn't need oxygen to breathe. So
are you saying we're spiritual beings living a human experience?
Exactly. And we have to be aware of that. We have to have the knowledge of that. We have to have the wisdom. And knowledge and wisdom are two different things. Why would they?
Right.
Knowledge and wisdom. Everybody always say you have to have the knowledge and the wisdom. To sum it up, knowledge can be something you read in a book. For instance, Donald Trump and all of them, they have read in the book statistically how it is to be broke. But people who are actually living in poverty have the wisdom of living in poverty. Donald Trump doesn't have the wisdom. The people not only have the wisdom, they have the knowledge. You know, so when you gain the wisdom, you gain the knowledge as well. So that all ties in because and knowing that you are a soul living, having a human experience, it opens up your what's that pineal gland.
Pineal gland.
Your pineal gland. It opens it up. It helps you expand.
Chakra.
It helps you expand your thinking. Because every time I'm thinking about somebody, you be like, a lot of people be like, man, if I was in that position, and if I would have did this, I would have did that. Man, you would have did the same thing. Because in order to be in somebody's position, you know what that means? That means you have to go through what they went through, feel what they was feeling, think of how they was thinking, breathing how they was breathing at every moment of their life.
Yep.
Every moment of their life. If you was Donald Trump, you'd be like, man, if I was Donald Trump, I wouldn't be doing this. Man, you would have been doing the same thing. If he was taught the things he was taught, ate the same food that he ate, all this matters.
Right.
Eating food, it changes your DNA, how you think. If you eat a lot of gluten, it blocks your thinking. You know, I don't gotta get all into that, but you know that all matters, man. So you got to know that you are a spiritual being having this human experience. Cause like I said, cause not knowing that you a spiritual being is dangerous, man. Cause a lot of times what your body need, your spirit don't need. And I say that all the time because it's very important to me. Cause you were saying all that stuff, and then I was thinking like, dang, spirit don't need none of that. But our spirit do need. What our spirit does need is us connecting with it every now and then, letting it know that we know we're part of it. We do need to work on it, meditate. In order for it to grow, we do have to do that ourselves. In order for our souls to grow, can't no preacher make your soul grow. Can't no, I can't make your soul grow. I can inspire you to do that. A preacher can inspire you. A priest can inspire you, but you, like we go through this about 360. You have to be the one to start a change so you can lead your lineage. Whether it's spiritually, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, you have to be that one. Because if it's not you, then who is going to be? If like what they say, if somebody leads you to the, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink.
Right. Right.
That's right.
That's it.
That horse ain't probably thirsty right now. Maybe I can be. You know what? It's a lot of times. I saw this video a long time ago and I missed the message. It was comedic spirituality. That's what I'm into that. And I was looking at the video. This is before I was woken. This is my ancestors trying to wake me up. I bumped into them. I'm like, man, what the heck are they doing? All this weird stuff. I missed the message. My ancestors brought me to the message, but me not knowing, like that horse, you'd have been walking around the desert all day long and you trying to bring the horse to the horse and show the horse to drink some water, and the horse not drinking it because it didn't slipped up and sweat and got in his eyes and nose. It can't smell nothing. You bringing it. That's how I was. I was a blind horse who couldn't smell, who didn't understand that I was right next to the water. My ancestors brought me to the video. I'm like, man, no. I didn't have the self-awareness to know what was going on. I didn't know that my trainer was bringing me to the water, telling me to drink, that this is water to drink, and I was thirsty. But my whole life, they've been telling me the sweat that come down my face is water. You know what I mean? Something silly like that. But you know, it's definitely important to remember who and to make sure you're maintaining your spirit spiritually. It's very important. A lot of people forget that.
All right, that's super facts. That's a lot of people get blinded by material things or life. You get blinded by things that honestly don't matter. Like if you know for a fact you got 20 breaths left, you don't care about how your car doing. You don't care about what bills you gotta pay. You don't care about none of that voluntary nonsense that doesn't matter.
What most people do, cuz, you know what's so crazy? I just thought about that. You just inspired me to think about this, cuz. You know what most people do on their deathbed that they probably never did their whole life? Self-reflect. Think about it. When you're in their deathbed, people like, man, I'm sorry that I did this. I'm sorry I did that. Look, I want to confess to this because, dang, I got to confess to that before I die. You know what I mean? Or they self-reflect. You on your deathbed. Don't wait till you on your deathbed or you on your last breath to self-reflect. This is what this episode was about, man. It's about to show you to self 360. I'm trying to find a word for that. To self 360. 360 self. That's what we're gonna call it. Check on your 360 self. And that means all the way because it's important. It's important because
this came to me too. It's like don't wait till you go on your deathbed to know the life you're living. Don't wait until you're on your deathbed to know the life you're living. And to close this out too, cause like, you know, while you were talking earlier, this came to me as well. Like self, right? An acronym for that. Seeing everyone love freely. So, seeing everyone love freely. If we can do that and help somebody and some people see everyone love themselves freely, then the message of Lead Your Lineage podcast lives on forever.
I do, cuz. We got to, man, cuz after you know what else too, cuz? After you realize, you know, you're aware of other people too, that open up doors.
Yeah.
You're more understanding, and you can get along with not only others, you can get along with yourself better. Cause you understanding who you are makes you know what type of people you want to be around. You understanding who you are makes people around you be like, this person think highly of themselves, so they're not gonna lure you to know. Like people, what's his name? Let's use somebody else, man. I don't want to use him, man. My favorite was Yeezy. Everybody want to say Kanye. Everybody say he's too self-confident. I think most people who say that lack in confidence. How can you tell a man he's too confident? Like I was saying earlier, you never know what an individual went through. Maybe he was at a point in time where he was so low and he lacked it, self-confidence, that when he started realizing, man, look, I got to feel better about myself, and he started carrying himself higher than he actually was at the time. Say if he was only making 5,000, but he acted like he was making 30,000, and it start actually working for him. Why would he hang that up? And in his life, he learned that the more self-confidence he has, the more successful he's been. So you can't never knock nobody's confidence. You never know what they went through. And if you look at somebody and say they got too much confidence, you must don't have enough confidence in yourself. You can't, because it's impossible. It's impossible to have too much confidence in yourself. It's impossible, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And as we close this out, man, I definitely appreciate your perspective and bringing that to the light for sure.
Appreciate it.
This episode was powerful.
Real powerful.
I definitely cannot wait till we get this thing out to the world. This is gonna change. This is gonna change a lot of lives. It's gonna change a lot of lives by us just being ourselves.
Yeah.
And this is what we for.
This is what we do. This is what made us open up the podcast with each other. We get together. We be on the phone talking to each other like this. Every time we talk to each other, it's motivational, cuz. And a lot of people need that, because it takes a team to help yourself, believe it or not. In order to understand yourself, you start realizing you do need certain people around you. You do, so.
Indeed. All right, family, we about to get up out of here.
Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe.
Absolutely.
Hey, all of that, man. Share, comment, show your mama, show your daddy, show your sister, your grandmama, your great-great-grandma, everybody, man.
Everybody.
We out, man. All because tell them one more time, man, before we leave, what this podcast is about. Why we the number one.
Yes. The Lead Your Lineage podcast, we are the number one podcast for individuals that are seeking to
Only
end
seeking, baby. Only seeking.
Generational dysfunction. And we out.
We out, man. Stay melanated.